Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Lucas Lounge podcast. However, this one you could probably call a Lucas Lodge podcast, as we're going to talk a little bit of hunting. We have some very special guests. My brother, Don, who you guys have met in previous episodes. Don.
Oh.
Yeah, act like you're here.
Oh, I'm here.
My dad, Big Don.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
And my nephew, Connor.
Hi, everybody.
That was beautiful.
That was good.
All right, and first order of business to go around the table. Don, what are you drinking?
Labatt Blue Light.
Dad?
Nice glass of ice water.
And Connor, what have you got?
Juice box from home.
Nice. We're going to let that slide because you are 9 years old, 8 years old.
I'm 7. I'm turning 8 March 12th.
March 12th. So coming up.
Right around the corner.
We have a lot of nieces and nephews. Trying to keep track of all your ages. I don't even know all your names.
Actually, you've only got 2 nephews.
That's fair.
And you've only got 2 nieces. So
I have 5 nieces.
You got 5?
Because Jenna's sister has 3 girls.
Oh.
So, I got a question for you. Who else has a birthday in March?
Uncle Ethan?
Yeah, that was cheating, Donny, but we'll let it slide. All right, so we're here to tell a story. Yes, Connor?
So
Wait, what is the story? Don't go into the full story, but it's Connor's first buck story, right?
Connor got a deer.
So we were sitting in the blind.
Who's we?
Me and Dad.
Yeah, details are important.
We had the front window of the blind open. We were talking. The heater was on. We were drinking the hot chocolate we brought. And then, for some reason, Dad looked around the corner through the right-hand window over his shoulder for some reason. He saw a buck coming down like 10 yards away on the trail. So he came over, so he watched it through the door window, came over to my side, opened the left window over on my side, and he shot. We got it. I thought since it's a gun, we won't need to track it, but I thought it would just drop down. But it dropped, and his head started moving all around. So then we went up, put hands on it. It was dead.
That's good.
We called Uncle Ethan, who did not answer.
I did not answer.
We
I was in the
also-
middle of cooking dinner or something. We're having people over. Probably had people over to record an episode of the show, and we were in the middle.
When that phone rings in November, you got to
I
answer.
know.
We called Happy,
What'd you say?
who did answer.
My bad.
And what'd you say when you called?
And all we really said, I said one sentence, which was Big Buck Down. So then we called Uncle Reggie, who knew that we got a deer because he's like, you never called me. How big is it?
That is what he said. We called him, and he didn't answer, and then he called right back. And he said, I knew something was up because you never call, but how big is it? What'd you tell him?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
His head's behind a tree.
Yep.
And then he asked if it was bigger than the ears. And I didn't know what that meant, so I asked Dad what bigger than the ears meant, because I thought it meant, like, is the body bigger than the ears? Because of course it is.
Of course it is.
But actually it meant, are the antlers bigger than the ears?
Correct.
Which it was. It was a 7-pointer. Well, kinda. It lost one of its antlers, which now it just has a little stub.
One of its points, right? It would have been an 8-pointer, but it broke
Yep.
off 1 point, so now it's just a 7.
Means it was a fighter. That's how they break off.
From the deer fighting. But it was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yep.
We weren't in there that long, right? We
Only
got to
for
camp. How long?
like an hour.
Yep. It was about an hour.
Now we're in the woods.
We got to camp. We said, hey, let's go down. We got all dressed up. We carried a bunch of stuff, right? We had to carry your chair. We had to carry a pillow for your chair.
Which
The
wasn't,
heater.
Which wasn't really like a pillow.
It was like a cushion.
Yeah, and it had like beans in it.
Yep.
A bean cushion.
So when your dad seen the deer coming, What were you doing? What'd you do?
Well, he brought a pair of earmuffs for me if we found a deer. So then he told me that if he said deer, I should put the earmuffs on. But instead of saying deer, he said big buck like 3 times.
Was I a little excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it now. Donnie going, big buck, big buck, big buck.
Exactly like that.
And then so I got my earmuffs on. And then he was way more excited than he was when he saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got your earmuffs on, safety first.
Well, it wasn't because I got earmuffs on.
Why was I more excited?
Because you got that ear.
Yep.
Did he shoot? Where were you when he shot?
Right next to him.
Was he almost on top of you?
Yeah, he almost stood on the heater.
Yikes.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
It happened fast, didn't it? We didn't even know he was coming. Good thing I looked out that window.
I don't know why.
Doesn't matter why.
It's the way it always works. When your dad got his first deer, I think, he was put in a stand by Pappy, and Pappy said, don't even bother looking behind you. They're never going to come from behind you. Just look down the hill. And sure enough, halfway through his hunt, your dad looked up the hill, and sure enough, there was a deer coming behind him.
Right where Pappy said it would not happen.
Yep, never fails.
That's what this was. We had our window open. We knew where to look. We were ready, all set up, and it came the other way. But it was right behind us. We looked out that window. I was setting down your cocoa cup because you had just had a glass of hot cocoa.
Uh-huh.
I was putting the cup back down.
And what you don't know is about 10 minutes before he shot the deer, he sent me a text. You know what he said in the text?
No.
Connor's not being very quiet.
Mm-hmm. I also got that text.
We were talking. We were eating snacks. What'd you have for a tree snack?
Like an oatmeal cream pie or something like that?
That's what you had, Little Debbie.
Was that thank you to Andy?
Yeah, leftovers. He was skeptical. I handed it to him, and he said, what is this? I said, just eat it. He says, it has like frosting in the middle. Yep. So he took a bite, and I have him on video. He looks up at me. He says, that's actually pretty good.
Well, usually you show me something and you ask me if it's going to taste good, then you eat it.
That's usually what happens. But this time I brought 2. One for you and one for me.
And then you left one, and then the next day when Liam came, he ate that one.
It was frozen solid, wasn't it?
But you did not get a buck with Liam.
Nope. But what did Liam do? When we got that deer, you and me.
Uh-huh.
We called Pappy. We called Mommy second, right?
Uh-huh.
And what did she say when you told her you got a big buck?
No, you did.
No, you didn't. She said. She didn't even know it happened.
Non-believer.
They couldn't hear the shot up at camp?
No, they were watching a movie.
Yeah.
Well, and we say this every year, but that hill is so funny with how sound moves around it.
Yeah, like right there, we were maybe 100 yards from the camp, but right down the hill, so it gets kind of muffled. But so then Mommy said she'd come see it, right?
Liam came running down first.
He came literally running, didn't
By
he?
himself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100 miles an hour came running. He was excited, wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
And what did he do? He climbed right in the blind.
Yep.
Did he find the deer?
No.
Did you show him?
Yeah, but he didn't. Like, I thought you were asking me, did he find that deer in the blind?
Oh, no.
He wouldn't have found it in there.
For the record, Liam is Connor's little brother.
Yes.
Just to clarify for people who
Who
don't
was
know.
very excited. He's very excited to go on a hunt. He went on one the next day, but he was very excited that weekend. I told all 3 of the kids, Connor, Liam, and Quinn, that they could go and do a hunt. And Quinn wasn't too interested.
Quinn is Liam's twin.
Twin sister, yep.
Yep. Is she into it? Or I think you just said that she's not into it.
Interestingly, she's into, like, I'll say the after. Like, she likes to see the deer when they're back up at camp. We have a lot of pictures. She'll hold the antlers and, but in the moment, she's kind of lukewarm on it. Like even that day when Liam came running, where was Quinn?
She was up watching TV.
Yeah, she said, I'm going to stay at camp.
And Liam stayed for the gutting.
He did,
The
yeah.
gutting?
I went back up to camp, and last time we were at camp, we watched 2 Harry Potters. With the first and the second, we went back home for a few weeks, watched 3rd and 4th Harry Potter. When we went back up, I brought the 5th. Wait, no, I'm pretty sure I've already watched that because there's 8 movies because they split Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. They split Deathly Hallows in half.
Yes, they did. This is a Harry Potter podcast now.
It's his favorite movie series and books.
Same.
So he was very excited to go watch the movie he brought. So he went
Yeah.
back up, and him and Quinn watched that.
Yeah, I watched Harry Potter, Order of the Phoenix, but that kept glitching out at the same part of the movie.
Yes.
It's because your dad won't invest in a nice DVD player for
There's
down
a new
there.
one down there.
So
The DVD
the-
scratched.
but-
So
Oh.
it kept pausing on the one spot.
But then we also did bring Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Good.
So after you shot the deer, did you use any of your tracking skills?
Why would we need to track it? It was only 15 or 20 yards away from us.
And it went right down, didn't it? Mm-hmm. What deer did you have to track this year? You're getting quite the experience this year.
I was about to segue into this.
So we had to track. Happy shot a deer in the blind with his crossbow. So we tracked that, me and Liam.
That was back in October, right? We were down at camp for Dad's birthday, and Pappy went out. He had a tough day that day. How long did he sit in the woods that day?
4 hours.
Yeah, but how long before he got his deer? Like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that blind's a killer.
It is.
I got to
yeah.
go sit it.
It's a good thing we moved it
I know.
last minute, but we got it moved and got it up, and it's been well worth it.
Yeah, it has.
And
It's paid
then
off.
we tracked it. We found it near this log. Me and Liam spotted it first because we just saw the bump on it. The bump of it, the furry bump. So we went over and we both stayed for the gutting. We went down the hill to our lower trail. Pappy went back up and got the 4-wheeler, brought it down with the wagon, and put the deer in, went back up to camp.
Who else was at camp that weekend?
Nana was too.
Yeah, she didn't come down and track, though, did she?
She's never helped with that.
And then Quinn was there with Mommy.
So, you know what the best question is?
What?
Which deer was bigger?
Yours.
That was a big buck, wasn't
But
it?
then we also, so it was a big buck. But we also did track one at home, 'cause Dad went out and just stood in a bush in bow season looking for one. But as soon as he came back in, Mommy said, "I think you just missed this one buck and these 3 does." So he went back out, got a doe. We tracked it, and it was like 30 yards away from going into our neighbor's yard.
Yep.
So, how did you track it that day? That was a different track than when you tracked Pappy's deer. What made that different?
The snow was like a foot deep.
We had snow, though, that day, right? And you guys didn't have school? Why not?
No, that was, I think it was like, maybe on the weekend, but
It was Veterans Day.
yeah.
Veterans.
Grammy was at our house. She used to bring me to breakfast for pancakes with our great-grandpa Havens. And he was in the army. He fought in a war, I can't remember which one.
World War II.
Really?
And then he died. And then for 2 years we went there alone for Veterans Day. And Grammy trained for Army. She thought if she stayed another year she could fight in a war. But she never got to fight in a war. So she just trained in the Army.
Yep. So now she comes up to visit you guys on Veterans Day.
Yep.
And you get pancakes.
Well, this time we didn't, because
It's a bum deal.
Daddy was still out in the
Yep.
backyard hunting.
Daddy messed the whole day up.
So it was just Mommy, Quinn, Liam, and Grammy. And, I don't know. I think someone else came on Veterans Day.
I don't know. Uncle Reggie came a couple days later to help cut the deer, right?
He came, and that was the day Mommy bought you this, like, huge white plastic cutting board.
Yep. What's your, when we cut the deer, what's your favorite thing to eat when we get deer stuff made?
The snack sticks.
Yeah, what flavor?
Pizza.
I heard
Yeah,
those weren't going to be any good.
The pizza ones are real good.
I heard.
In fact, there's some in the fridge you can take home with you if you want
Oh,
to.
I'm not going to say no to that. That's for sure.
They are good.
Now, Dad, do you want to tell the story about your deer, or do you think Connor pretty much summed it up? First crossbow deer.
First crossbow deer. It's kind of funny because I actually applied for the disability for crossbow because of my shoulder being messed up. I can't pull my compound anymore. So we got the crossbow and figured we'd see what happens and went down the blind. Donny was already down in the woods that day because they had gotten there earlier that day. He'd gone down the woods about 1 o'clock, got up in the tree stand. And I wandered down in, got in the blind, and texted Donny to tell him I was in. And he said, keep your eyes open. He said, I've been watching a little buck chasing a doe back and forth over the hill all day here since I've been in here. He says, they're going back and forth. It couldn't have been not even 5 minutes after that. I see this doe jetting through the woods, and right behind her about 60 yards or so was a little buck. And they were headed north from the south side of the hill, so they were kind of going towards Donny. So I texted him and said, I just seen them. They're headed your way again. And I was sitting in the blind, and I literally, from the time I got in the blind, I couldn't have been in there more than 20 minutes. And almost like the story, don't ask me why, because the deer came from a direction I didn't expect it to out of the corner of my eye. I look, and I see it coming down through the woods to my right, actually right up, coming from your tree stand.
Okay.
Right, straight down through the hardwoods. And there was no way I'd get a crossbow shot through the thick stuff. It was too thick, but he had his head down, wasn't spooked, but just wandering through the woods, on a mission. And he came down, and there was a fall down in front of kind of his path from where he was coming straight. And instead of going over the fall down, he cut around it, but it put him down on the logging road. And he came right out, dead nuts in front of the blind, about 35, 40-yard shot, totally broadside, but he wasn't stopping. So I let out a little grunt, and he froze and looked right straight at the blind, and I let go, and it happened so fast that he turned, kind of went straight away from me down the hill, and then I texted Donny to tell him that I hit a nice deer, because I really didn't know how big it was, but it was a decent deer. I knew that. And so he starts asking me all these questions about, well, how nice was it? How good was your hit? How'd he react? Did he buck up after you hit him? And I'm like, no. I said he just kind of turned real quick and bolted away. The only thing I could say is his tail didn't go up. Where do you think you hit him? I know where I was aiming, but the crossbow's so fast you can't even see where the arrow goes.
Right.
So I sit there a little while, and I'm thinking, well, Donny said, because it was only like 20 after 2. We were planning on hunting until dark. So I figured, Donny says, sit there till about 4 and I'll head over. So I'm okay. Well, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I better go make sure I hit this deer. I got to at least make sure I actually hit it. So I get down out of the blind, go over where he was standing, and I have good blood both sides of where the deer was standing. And I figure, okay, I got a good hit. So I go back to the blind. Then I'm thinking, wonder where my arrow went. Wonder where, if I got blood on both sides, where's the arrow? I couldn't see it from the stand, so I get back out of the blind, go over again and look, and there's my arrow laying. One of the flets had come off on the entry side, and the arrow was right up against a rock, into a bank. And I look at the arrow, and like one of the blades is totally missing. One is snapped in half, and I'm thinking, oh, geez, did this thing even open like it's supposed to? Because I was using the retractable ones. So now I'm getting a little nervous. So he comes over, we start tracking, and really didn't have a whole lot of. We had good blood and stuff, but it was getting tough to see. Of course, the leaves are red. The maple leaves have red on them. Everything has red. And it had been a couple hours, so things were starting to dry up. So we moseyed down through and knew where it was at. But that's when we went back to the camp and got the boys and said, come on, Pappy shot a deer. We got to go track it.
We figured make sure it's down.
Yeah.
You know, we made that mistake last year with tracking a buck too early and bumping it. And you think, oh, you know, it's not the great end to a track. So we said, let's at least see what we're dealing with, and then we'll go get the boys to finish the job. But how big was that buck, Connor? How many points?
10. And then Nana also said it was probably with the crossbow, it was probably too fast for you to even see.
It was fast. It was fast. So then the interesting part is we figured take the opportunity to teach Liam and Connor just we got to track it. This is how you track. This is what we look for. So we start out where the hit was. Okay, here's some blood. Here's some blood. Look for where the leaves are scuffed, you know, to kind of look for scuffed leaves. So we started doing some of that. We got maybe 20 yards or so down, and Donny says to the kids, Connor and Liam are there, and now Connor's analyzing everything. I mean, he's walking like, you know, Sherlock Holmes would be with a magnifying glass, you know, looking at every little drop and leaf and everything. And Liam's walking through the woods going, here's blood, there's blood, there's blood, just kind of bullying through. So we get to a spot where there's a path, and to one side it's thick, but it's running parallel with the hill. The other one is straight down over the steep part of the hill. And it's relatively open. So Donnie says, you know, well, you know, here you are. Look here. You know, if you were a deer, which way do you think a deer would go from here? Connor starts analyzing it. Well, going that way would be the easier route, but it's so thick, I don't think a deer would want to go through there. So he probably went. In the meantime, Liam's already like 10 yards ahead of us going, here's blood, here's blood, here's blood. So we get down. We were probably 30 yards, 25 yards from where the deer was when they seen it.
Yeah.
And they're like, there it is, I see it. And they took off like whew, through the woods. And what did I tell you to do when you got to the deer?
Poke it in the eye.
You weren't too keen on doing that, were you?
Why would you do that?
See, if it like flinched, it would only be passed out. But if nothing at all happened, it would be dead.
That's right.
I didn't really want to do it, which I did, but I didn't want to, because if it just laid there with his eyes open, I could poke it, and then it jumps back up, and 5 seconds later, I'm laying on the ground, and not the deer that's dead, but I'm dead.
Yeah, you don't want to have to fight the deer.
Nope. But we didn't have to worry, huh? You poked it, and we were all good.
We got pictures. We got lots of pictures.
Which we can put on the Instagram.
There you go.
And then Dad told us me and Liam should just start walking down the hill. And then, like 5 seconds after that, he told us to stop and come back up.
It was getting dark, wasn't it?
It was getting pretty dark by then. We didn't need to be chasing two kids through the woods lost someplace.
We could see the road.
Yeah, we were right by the one trail. That's what's nice with the way our trails are, right? We can always drag them down to a road and then go get the quad. Because dragging uphill is no fun.
Really wasn't much of a drag. The deer kind of was like on a sled on snow.
Just sort of went.
Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot you had snow.
No, there was no snow.
Oh, no snow. It was like a sled on snow. I gotcha.
It was so steep. As soon as he started pulling the deer, it just went without him almost.
I've never had that experience. I've only ever dragged deer uphill.
Yeah.
Which is not any fun, Connor.
We had to do a little dragging with the buck I got. Liam stayed with me. He just sat. He climbed up on a stump and just sat there talking the whole time, just chatting away.
You didn't help drag?
No, but he did hold the flashlight while I drug.
Oh.
And I'll give Liam full credit because he was very good about telling me to watch out. I was going backwards uphill. And he kept saying, "Watch out, Dad, there's a stick. Watch out, there's a stick. Don't fall, don't fall."
Where there's a million sticks.
I was slipping all over those leaves and the loose dirt.
It is tough terrain down there with you get
Oh,
your
yeah.
big heavy boots on, then it's all loose leaves, loose shale.
Yeah.
But as soon as we get off the paths, the roads, for the most part, it's so steep that
Yep.
you really need to have good footing.
Yep.
I knew that just from walking this year. Going downhill was almost as bad as going uphill, just for different reasons.
Yeah, you're sliding. But no, it was a good season. You guys had a lot of cool experiences.
Yeah.
Got to see Pappy get a big buck. It's been I shouldn't say it's been a long time.
been a year.
It's been exactly a year. But prior to that, it was a long time since Pappy got a big buck.
Yes, it has been.
And it is not a common practice for us to get 2 nice bucks or 3 nice bucks in a season, and we've been doing
Multiple
that the last
deer at
couple
all.
of years. Yeah.
Yeah, the kids were with you for all 3.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
All 3 of the
for-
deer the kids
to
were with us.
recover deer, and Quinny went with us on the recovery of the doe. She was good about that. She went and helped us track. You guys were all in your snowsuits, and
How much snow did you guys have? I feel like we haven't.
it was one of those like fluke 3 inches of snow overnight. It was
Interesting.
gone by lunchtime.
Because we haven't gotten anything really substantial where we are.
Because me and Liam I made a snowman like the height of me,
Mm-hmm.
and then it probably would be hard to drag a deer uphill. Because when we were in the car, Dad spooked a doe on the side of the road on a hill where it could have probably just jumped onto the truck roof.
Really?
And
That was just tonight.
and I
Really?
asked
He
him
said,
what
"Whoa, watch out!"
And I asked him what would happen, and he said it would crash the roof. And I asked why, and he's like, "Deer heaven." I'm like, "I know that, but like, your roof is metal." And then he said that somehow deer are heavier when they jump, but wouldn't that just pull you right back down?
Yeah, but all that weight when you're jumping. Think about it when you jump when you jump off of something onto the floor. It makes that loud bang, but not when you walk. It's because when you jump, all that weight hits the floor.
All at the same time with momentum.
Well, when you're walking, nothing at all happens
Right.
because you're staying on the ground. But the deer still wouldn't really be jumping and landing on the ground. It would only be jumping like 5 feet up and then just laying
Yep.
on the hood of a car. Or, well, not really on the hood. It would probably be on the roof.
Well, let's hope we never find out.
So I got another question for you. So you helped with a deer that was shot with a crossbow,
Yep.
a deer that was shot with a bow and arrow,
Uh-huh.
and a deer that was shot with a rifle.
Yep.
When you hunt, when you get old enough to start hunting in a few years, what do you want to hunt with? What do you think is more fun?
A pistol.
You're going to try a pistol?
You haven't tracked a deer that got shot with a pistol. So how do you know?
Well, I haven't tracked a deer with a gun ever, because I'm pretty sure you don't even need to track a deer with a gun. Because
Depends.
it's a gun, it goes right through.
Depends on who's shooting.
Yeah. We've had some we had to track.
Through the years, we had lots of hunters that we looked for deer that they shot with guns.
You got to have a really good shot.
Well, that meant they didn't have a very hard shot or a good shot.
That's right.
So what's that mean? In order to be a good shot, you need to do what?
Shoot it in the chest.
Practice? Right? You got to practice shooting so you know what you're doing.
I got a lot of practice. We got a cube target at our house that we went to Shed Fest at Solitude, and there was this you would pick 10. There was this guy who had a bucket. He picked 10 names, wrote them down on a sheet of paper. Then he called all the kids into the bar, into this one room with prizes. Quinn was actually first to get picked.
What'd you get?
So she wanted to pick something that had nothing to do with hunting at all. She wanted to pick like a lamp. And then Dad was like edging her toward the bow. which if, like, it looked like it was like a kid's hunting bow, 'cause it had all the gadgets that Dad's does to make the shot quieter and all that. But then when we went home and practiced it with the cube target, it was Quinn and Liam, it was too heavy for them to hold, and they couldn't pull it back all the way. So they ended up using my old green one, which is easier, and I ended up using the black one.
So
Nice.
You've been practicing with that. It's a Brave, just like we had
Oh, is it?
growing up. Yeah. Yeah, it was the youth raffle at Shedfest. And Quinn was the first pick. So
Who got picked second out of you guys?
None of us.
Well, I mean, who was the next of your siblings picked? You or Liam?
None of us got picked again.
Connor and Liam were the last two. They picked every kid, and they had a whole table of different prizes, but they kind of picked through all the prizes, and then Connor and Liam hadn't been picked, so they said, look, if you guys are still left, take whatever you want. So I think Liam got a T-shirt.
Yeah,
right?
Liam got this red T-shirt that said, I think, the hunting public on it.
That one's the Hunt Works. I think it's one of their T-shirts.
Uh-huh.
And I forget what you picked.
And then I picked a calendar,
That's right.
which I still have.
I remember you got the
You do
calendar.
Which
have
I
the
still
calendar.
have, and I'm pretty sure I'm still on December 25th. I mean, not December, September 25th.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to change that to December 1st.
You only got like 30 more days, and then you got to get a new calendar.
He likes his calendar. He usually keeps it pretty well updated. He was crossing off every day.
Uh-huh.
So has your dad got you started? Were you shooting any BB guns or anything yet?
I shot a BB gun, and then we went to Great Grandma's house, picked out those 3 BB guns. One of them, I'm pretty sure, wasn't even a BB gun, because, well, it was a BB gun, it shot BBs, but it was like it had all these gadgets on it that you had to do. Like, there was this one lever that you had to pull, and every one of the BB guns, all 3, were a brand that doesn't even exist anymore.
They're oldies.
Crossman?
No, the one that he's talking about was Pap's BB gun from. We did
Pellet.
the math. It was a pellet gun
It's a Crossman.
from. We figured it probably had to be the 40s.
Really?
Yeah, he was working for a farmer who bought it for him, and Graham still had it. So she said she didn't even know if it worked or anything, but she had kind of cool. She had an old tin can full of pellets. So, like now you buy the Copperhead BBs, they're like a milk carton or a little plastic jug. This is almost like a sardine can, unopened. And it's
Interesting.
the pellets. So that must be how they used to come. So she said, take it, see if the kids can shoot it, if you can get it working.
We brought the 3 guns to camp, and then we never brought them home. What we did, we brought them home before we brought them to camp, but we had no BBs at home. We only had pellets. So we got the pellet gun that Dad was using to shoot squirrels in Grammy's roof,
That's true.
and we shot that at some LaCroix cans that Mommy always drinks, but those ones were empty.
So you've been learning.
Mommy's a big LaCroix drinker.
Uh-huh.
She likes her sparkling water.
So-
And nobody shot one except for Dad. He shot one, but just barely. He hit it right at the bottom because the pellets were all shooting low. We were either hitting the hay bale or just hitting the grass.
Yeah, it had to have been the pellets.
Had to be.
And then we all, at least every single one of us, Mommy, Quinn, Liam, me, and Dad, every single one of us probably shot one or more times, shot the fence behind it.
So Connor, when I was a kid, I would go to camp, and there were a couple trips that I went just with me, your dad, our cousin Matt, Bracton's dad,
Yeah.
and great Grammy, and we'd have the BB guns out, and we'd be drinking soda, and I'd go get my Sprite can and go to take a sip, and it would dribble on me because there were holes in the can. So I'd go inside and get a glass and pour the rest of the Sprite into the glass, and the BBs would fall out of the can into the glass because my brother, your dad, and Matt thought it was funny to shoot my full soda can with BBs. And it would make a mess.
When he gets diagnosed with lead poisoning, I'll feel more
They're all
sympathetic.
copper. I don't think you can get copper poisoning.
So, did you ever get BBs?
No.
Yeah, we got
But
babies.
we did bring the ones that are in, like, it looked like an old, like, mustard or ketchup bottle.
Plastic jug.
Gotcha.
And then, yeah, I did watch Expedition. When I went for a sleepover here, we watched Expedition Files. And one of them was about these people. It wasn't the Mayflower, but they were trying to get to America and unknown countries and other stuff like that. And when they came to this one iceberg that had tents in it, they were like zombies. And there are a lot of things that people say. Some people say it was because they got lead poisoning they brought like 3 years worth of cans of beans and chicken, and they also started eating the rubber soles of their shoes.
Ooh.
Their captain had a nickname because he didn't even eat any of the beans and chicken. All he would eat was everybody's soles of their shoes.
Interesting.
They would boil them. And then when they found the Native Americans on the one iceberg, they tried to give them some chicken. And some people say they were zombie-like because they also had it was because they would shoot the polar bears and eat them, and they might have had some sort of disease that gave them some zombie-like looking disease. So when the Native Americans brought them into the tent, tried to give them some meat that they knew had no diseases on it, the people wouldn't eat it. When they came back from hunting, all they found was the chicken they left for the meat they left for them to eat. It wasn't chicken. And the dead bodies of the people, the zombie-like people.
Interesting. Well, on that note, if we want to wrap up here, do you have any more notes, anything you want to share with the listeners before we wrap up?
Nope, not really.
Don?
No, it's been a good year. Connor, when you get old enough, do you think you'll be a hunter?
Yeah.
What about fisherman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already caught a walleye, and Uncle Ethan hasn't.
No, yeah, we have to make that public.
That's right.
That is correct. Connor got a really nice walleye last summer, or this past summer, and I have yet to catch a walleye in my life.
16 inches.
But who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting?
The cooler.
The cooler. That's right. The cooler keeps track.
The cooler has measuring, I think it had, was it centimeters and inches, or was it?
Centimeters and inches, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get some more pizza snack sticks this year, right?
Yep.
We got no shortage of venison.
No shortage. And the season's not over.
Nope.
Your dad leaves Wednesday to go hunting again down in Pennsylvania.
Going down to PA.
Uncle Reggie, he's there. He shot his 1 8-pointer. He got a taxiderm, a tag. He tagged it, which I didn't know, but I learned when he called me that you're only in PA, you're only allowed to get 1 buck. And then it's like the end. You're not allowed to shoot any more bucks or does. You're not allowed to shoot any more deer.
Is he going to mount that one, Don?
I don't think so. Not the one he got this year.
This year?
He's going to do. He'll probably do a Euro mount.
That was just Sunday night.
Yep, just his opening
Yesterday,
weekend.
right? Yeah, their opening weekend, but it was last night, I think.
I don't know. He called just Saturday, right? Because he
Yeah.
called Liam Sunday morning. Liam was already in bed, but he called you to tell you. He said, "How long had it been since he got his last buck?"
5 years.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, he still got me beat because I still have never gotten a buck.
Your time's coming.
I know. It's just getting time to get out there. It's been tough.
You can't predict it. You know, I walked into the woods with him that day 100% prepared to sit there for an hour and a half, drink a thermos of cocoa, and walk out. You know, you just don't know.
And we were talking because of Jimmy D seeing those deer today.
Yep.
At least this year, the trend is between like 1 and 3, 1 and 3:30. It seems to be is when the deer are moving.
Yep.
More
Which is
than
weird.
you think. Always get out there by sunup and stay till dusk, and that's not when we're seeing them.
No.
They're in the middle of the day, just moseying through.
Mid-afternoon deer.
Yep. Which is right up your alley.
Yeah. Yeah, just once I get up and go out.
That's right.
Catch the middle of the afternoon. All right. With that being said, I think we'll wrap this up. Thank you for joining us. You can listen to us on Spotify or YouTube at the Lucas Lounge Podcast. And you can also email us at the Lucas Lounge Podcast at gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and thank you to my special guests for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night.